Right, hello everyone, we're doing a recording today about the new LINX portal, and I'm delighted to have with me Mike Ellers, Ricardo Vassini and Katrina Smith. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to go through a bit about the process, about how this is set up and what the new features are. Do you want to just give us a bit of an introduction about yourselves and what role that you actually play at LINX? Let's start off with you, Kat.
Hi, Katrina Smith, or people know me as Kat. I'm membership manager here at LINX. I've been here for about 10 years now. So I look after to do anything to do with the members. So anything as a whole that the members get involved in. So obviously I'm here representing the membership with regard to the portal.
Okay, Mike.
Hi, I think most of you probably know me. I'm Mike Ellers. I've been with LINX for well over 10 years now. Initially, the first probably 9 years of that, always in the technology team, running the engineering and operations teams, but have now moved over to the product team and work on developing new products and supporting existing products.
Okay, and Ricardo, over to you.
So I'm Ricardo Vassini. I'm LINX software engineering manager, and I oversee all software development at LINX. We're currently working on many different projects, one of which is the new portal website, which we're about to discuss.
Okay, that's great. Right, Kat, going back to you first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about the LINX portal itself and why it's important to our members?
So we sort of see it as a one-stop shop for everything that the members need to get involved in. So it's a place where they probably go first off if they need to find information about us, but obviously they're more than welcome to reach out to us as well. But a lot of information is within the portal area. So they can be sort of self-sufficient and looking after what information we maintain for them. So they can view the contacts that we have for them, the roles that they have within those contacts. So looking at permissions, there's invoices on there so they can see what invoices have been paid and what's outstanding. And this is all the information that's actually hidden behind a login. So they can see their stats, their peers that they actually peer with, and who they maybe need to reach out to gain more in-depth private peering. Yeah, the member information area and orders and services, and also seeing their actual current services as well. And then outside of the login, there's all general information about LINX as well. So you can see all of our regional LANs, all the traffic that's to do with that, information on our route server, and looking glasses as well, and lots of member lists and member information.
Okay, so we've had the portal for a while, and we've gone through a development phase. I mean, Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit more about how we got to this point, about how it's been developed over this time?
Yeah, sure. As you said, we were offering a portal for our members for quite some time, and which is the existing version of the portal. We had a project to improve the functionality of that portal, but then decided to actually do a complete refresh, and we've run this project slightly differently to what we have done before. So we actually started working with an external company to develop a complete UI UX concept and actually prototype end to end. During that process, both LINX and the external agency worked with a number of members, did interviews with members and also LINX staff to get feedback on functionality that they mainly use, and also feedback on very early versions of the prototype throughout this process. We've then moved on to the implementation, and our software team continued to work with the external agency during that implementation. And we have also exposed a very early beta version of the portal to a small group of members, and of course internally to staff, to again collect feedback as we develop it, And a lot of that feedback has flown back into, through that process, has flown back into the development as we go along.
Okay, Ricardo, coming to you then. Do you want to give a bit of an overview about the framework of the portal, about how it all works, the front end and the back end?
Yeah, so as Mike said, this has been quite a different type of effort compared to other software development projects that we had at LINX before. We tried to plan it and to build it in a way that we were sure that would last for the next 5, 10, potentially more years. And we try to use that approach on different parts, including as well the back end. And we took the occasion to basically work on refactoring or changing completely parts of the old portal as well. One thing to mention is that we basically changed completely the backend of member-facing stats, which is a big component of the new portal. So we went from a MongoDB focused solution to a time series database solution using Prometheus. We also created basically the old portal was with which is still currently the portal that at this time is accessible to the member. It was created in AngularJS, which is a front-end framework, which we thought potentially could not be withstanding another prolonged amount of time for future development. So we decided to go with the more recent and more widely adopted framework, which was created by Facebook, which is React.js. And we decided also to create kind of one-page application website where you basically have one middleware, which is a small kind of simple API, which we build with the API platform framework and Symfony, that basically provide an abstraction layer between the website and our internal API that pretty much allow to gather all the information really related to company business processes and technical informations. So we effectively have this React.js website, then which is facing API platform Symfony middleware, which is then facing our internal API. And yeah, so these this design at pro and cons, but we basically worked out with the design firm, some of as well of their experts. We just agree that the current design was actually sound. They help a lot of companies well building new websites. So overall, I would say this has been quite significant effort, not just on the technical point of view, but overall from company-wise, it had like a lot of effort put by pretty much every department trying to make like the best product possible, which we believe would be kind of a modern user experience that could last for a significant amount of time. So quite good value produced out of the time and effort invested. Okay,
right. So now, Mike, we've spoken about the portal before. One of the things you said was quite important to get across at the beginning was about the security and authentication being quite an important part of this. Do you want to sort of tell us about why that is the case and what's being done?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about that. So far the existing portal, of course, there is authentication like on every other web-based platform, but it's a single username password, which is probably by current standards probably at the limit of the minimum that's required. But as we are starting to introduce additional functionality, including self-service functions, which we're probably going to talk about a little bit later in more detail, we thought it was necessary to actually increase the level of security. So with the new portal, we're also introducing the capability for members to enable second factor authentication onto their login, which we're actually using a third party for that. We're using Okta in this case, and there will be multiple methods that the members can choose for the authentication once they log in.
Okay, so what are the major differences members will notice when they first use the new portal?
Hopefully there's going to be loads of changes that they will notice. Hopefully as soon as they log in, they're going to notice that it has a much more modern, much more refreshed look and feel overall. But also, I think one of the main pain points that we knew and always got mentioned by members, and Ricardo already indicated that a lot of effort has gone into not only the front end, but also the back end. So the performance, especially when you're looking at the data that is being presented, especially your port statistics, peer statistics, it's the performance of it, the how responsive it is, and how quickly the data is being loaded and shown to users. So hopefully members will notice that pretty much immediately. The other areas where, and it's an evolving area and it's going to continue to improve, is also what you can do with the data that's available, especially as before. There's two types of statistics that we're showing. One which is purely your traffic levels on the port, which is data collected over SNMP, and then there is the data which we're connecting by IPFix these days, which we call flow-based data, which allows you to show your traffic based on the peers that you have on your network. So you can see how much traffic is coming or going to a certain peer. And the capability there is already much enhanced compared to what we had before. It clearly also benefits from the much better performance, but there is functionality even at the launch date. For example, you can quite easily see the graphs for a specific peer across all of your ports, or even across your different LANs. So you can already start to dig deeper into your data, and we hope to continue to improve on that. The other focus that members are probably going to see is, we mentioned before, we're starting to introduce some self-service functionality. One of the first one and probably most asked for is being able to change your MAC address straight away, and we're making use there of the integration with our network config automation tools to actually push the change when if the member asks for the MAC address to be changed immediately, that change can be pushed out straight away to the network, so you get an immediate result out of that, or the member can request it to be done at a certain date or time, depending on what his needs are. The order forms, again, are a part where a lot of effort is going into, and at launch there will only be some of them which will be fully implemented using the new approach. And again, it's a first version, and it's going to continue to evolve. But again, the hope there is to make it much simpler for members to order it, give them more flexibility when ordering it, and more feedback throughout the order process. So hopefully even on day one, they're going to see an improvement, but it is an area where there's going to be much more to come.
Excellent. Right, Ricardo. So we've heard there that it's a phased process. There's going to be some functionality available at the start, but it's not all going to be there straight away. I think it's a case of managing people's expectations. What's the next steps for you guys and your team in terms of what goes on from here?
Yeah, so just wanted to mention on the point. So basically, the focus has been on trying to identify the main areas that are useful for LINX members and user portal in the current portal and trying to prioritize basically the redesign of that part and the implementation of that part. But in order to get out the value created to the user as soon as possible, and trying to be able to focus on simply the implementation of one website rather than keep in parallel two websites, we just decided to reach feature parity, including some iframes pointing to the less used pages on your portal, but then adding additional features that were mentioned by Mike, including the self-service. I kind of forgot to mention that also another area that required some improvement on the back end as well. So for the first time, we undergone the basically the implementation of an automated quarantine testing. So basically a process that before was manually performed by LINX staff is fully basically automated, and that guarantees basically the change of the MAC address and potentially in the future of other services, guaranteeing like a security for the other users, but without necessarily depending on a member of staff picking up basically the request. So it can be done anytime. Just to mention as well, another thing on the back end was the fact that on security-wise, as Mike mentioned, we relied on Okta. So we basically embedded a widget from Okta in our website that guarantees basically that any kind of modification that is done on the security level is automatically propagated to our website, because that could include additional possibility to perform two-factor authentication. But that two-factor authentication is actually optional, and for the user at the beginning, and they will be able on their profile setting to opt in or opt out of that two-factor authentication. Obviously, as a company, we strongly recommend to enable two-factor authentication for security, but we felt that the user should be entrusted to decide for themselves, basically. We also worth to mention on security-wise, we adopted JWT for the middleware API. So overall, we believe that we actually spent a significant amount on the design and implementation of security. So this portal, despite the fact, of course, the current portal is safe, and the new portal will be extremely safe. Let's put it like that, and definitely it will be, let's say, it will be definitely considered safe for a quite much longer time of the current portal. Future development basically is being currently discussed with the product team and the other departments in the company, because of course there are a lot of areas that we would like to basically kind of finished implementing, so that the pages that I mentioned that were less used, that have been imported for feature parity reason on the new portal, we would like obviously to implement them so that we can fully retire the old website. But of course, it's basically we're very looking forward very much looking forward for interaction with the members, so that we can try and prioritize the changes and the kind of features that they feel are most important for them. So effectively two main kind of priorities here, trying to basically finish and porting basically all the old portal iframes present in the new portal to the new standard, but as well implementing with it new content, new features basically that are useful for the members, with the participation of the members on deciding basically what they feel they would want to see in their own portal.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, really, is that if we wanted to, well, we do want to get that feedback from the members about any improvements or added features that they want to include. Where should they be directing those requests?
So there's a pop-up box, if you like, for any suggestions or comments or a conversation that you want to have with LINX. By all means, you can use that area there. We obviously have a member relations area where we're willing to gain any information from members across any membership question, but obviously feedback as well on the portal. Also, obviously we're at events as well, so face-to-face or over the phone, that would be perfectly fine. And also we are really willing to hear what you've got to say. If you feel like it's something small or you don't feel it's going to be carried forward, we'd just love to hear what information you'd like to see, or suggestion or an improvement. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. We'll add the details about actual contact addresses at the end of this, but have you got any last points you'd like to raise as part of this discussion?
So I just wanted to mention maybe some new features that are coming that we're working on, which are going to be in the next phase of the portal. We're just looking at prioritising them at the moment and who's going to fight hardest for them, I suppose. So I'm mostly interested in the notifications for the members. So if there's something that's a new product or service that we wanted to highlight to that member, and maybe they'd be specifically interested in that. And then maybe there's a contact that we're missing, maybe a guardian or an authoriser that we need for that person, then they'll get the notification when they're logging in that we need to find a new contact for them. And then also on the mailing list, so the mailing lists are going to be implemented within the portal. So the guardian or the authoriser or even the user can choose which mailing list they need to be subscribed to. There is mandatory mailing lists that we need every member to be subscribed to. So those need to be looked at as well. So maybe that will fall into the notification side of things. And then another area that we're looking at is the events. So at the moment it's very limited what's in there, but we're going to be highlighting more in the event area, see more attendee lists, who's there, and yeah, so that'll be more interactive for the event side of things.
And there's similar improvements in many other areas, and we talked a little bit about the work that goes into the order forms. One major improvement there, and that fits well with the change on how our pricing works. So one of the next steps that's going to get enabled on the new order forms is actually showing you your actual costs, the pricing as you choose a port, as you choose a service. You will see straight away on the order form before you place the order what the costs will be, the charges will be for you on that side. And that's really just one element out of many. There will be improvements to the maintenance calendar. A lot of other areas where you currently still see kind of embedded the current portal, all of these will get ported over time and seamlessly integrated into the experience. Similar, there's a number of improvements also. Again, if we continue talking about portal order forms, improvements for our connections partners, which again, there will be some self-service functionality which will get added for some of their service. So a lot of more things to come. And as Ricardo said initially, a lot of the work went actually into the framework, the back end, which will allow us to hopefully add all of that additional new functionality into the new portal as we go on.
Okay. Any last comments, Ricardo?
No, just
okay.
thank everyone. Thank you everyone for the help and support in making this possible. So looking forward for the launch.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Kat.
Thank you.